Peace and greetings. This is Ras Timotheos, Tafari Ben Israel, High Priest of the Temple Divine, Holy Temple of Yah. I'm here to present to you some documentary information. I'm the head CEO, High Priest of this said temple, and I wish to share with you guys some key principles about our principles in faith. So, the nature of the temple divine is that we are priest or priestess of Yah, and Yah is the divine mind. Yah is the representation of what modern day people call God. And it deals with all religious backgrounds, involves the indigenous nations of people around the world. It involves meditation, religious rites, and spiritual practice. We also have dietary law. We eat specific dietary things. We have specific dietary practices, and some key central figures are Yah, the divine mind. So the Temple Divine is also known as a university of specifically metaphysical science, the metaphysical sciences of the universe. Key scriptures are dealing with metaphysical interpretation of the Biblos Helios, or the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Al-Quran, and also the Taoist Book of Changes, Tao, the Kabbalah systems, and all other ancient religious, spiritual mythos and legends of old and of new. Other accepted texts written by founder Ras Timotheos Ben Israel, that is I. We also have other scriptures that we may use to add on to our spiritual endeavors. The priests of the Temple Divine must claim their nationality as human beings, belonging to nations. Under international customary law, we practice these practices according to our faith. So the priests of the Temple Divine are claiming indigenous inherited nations of the world. These indigenous nations are mentioned within many religious and spiritual books, including the Bible, specifically known as the Israelites. They are of the indigenous tribes of men and women, children of Yah, ambassadors of the divine mind. The natural status of these priests of the Temple of Divine are Native Original American Hebrew Israelite of the nation of Israel. They also are called Moors in some definitions as well. So most of the priests of North America are American nationals and claim their inheritance of their forefathers and foremothers, land, as well as religious and spiritual rights. So our tribal banner is red, gold, red, and a 5-pointed star. All of these have meanings. The red meaning the blood of the ancestors. Gold is the light of Yah, or enlightenment, gnosis, the inner knowledge, the inner spiritual knowledge, and green, the growth and prosperity of the nation and tribes as high priests and divine inherited rights protected, and we grow under, being, the divine elements of Yah. So that's represented by the 5-pointed star. It's fire, water, earth, air, and Yah, the divine mind, spirit. So this is what I'd like to document. There'll be more videos coming. So yeah, peace. Peace and greetings, everyone. This is Ross Timotheos, High Priest of the Temple of Divine, and this is part 2 to the video, first part of the video, where we left off when we were speaking about the flag. Let's get to it. Recap. Okay, so I just inserted this photo of our flag so you guys can get a representation of what the flag of the nation of Israel, this particular tribe. Okay.
Malek Hawanam, Divine Mind, Supreme Consciousness of the Universe, Divine Father of Wisdom, Knowledge, and Understanding, Divine Mother of Peace, Love, and Unity, Divine Mind, Yah, my protector, my guide, my guide. Holy is the creator of the universe, and peace to his creation. Amen. Baruch.
In this particular slide, I wanted to document partaking of the sacrament.
Malek Hawanam, Divine Mind, Supreme Consciousness of the Universe, Divine Father of Wisdom, Knowledge, and Understanding.
So the second slide we have here, speaking on meditation in the sacrament. So atonement, meaning at one-ment, or the process and action of becoming at one with Yah, Divine Mind of the universe, the God indwelling. Salvation is the process by which man and woman know and express the mind of Yah, gained through gnosis, spiritual esoteric awareness or knowledge of self. Then we have meditation, which is a practice by which the priests focus their minds on Yah indwelling, supreme consciousness. And we have first-hand religious spiritual experiences. Check out this video I made speaking particularly on this subject of meditation and the sacrament.
Prayer, meditation, and the use of the Holy Sacrament is used to create a route of communication or communion between Yah and man, and takes place within the innermost part of man and woman's being. And so according to the Temple of Divine, this allows us to affirm the truth of Yah as well as the only true way to heal and restore or purify the consciousness of the priest. And according to the Temple of Divine, meditation, prayer, and observance of the Holy Sacrament, cannabis, is deemed a critical factor to the faith and worship of the Temple of Divine. It is a fundamental religious experience that makes up the Temple of Divine. And since they are practices which are deemed critical for the priest to attain salvation, it must be customarily sought out and attained. And the sacrament is used, like I said before, as a route of communion, of communication, a route of attainment at one-ment between man and Yah.
So here on the next slide, we have the 7 principles of meditation and partaking in the sacrament. So the first is Yah should be recognized as divine mind indwelling. The second, oneness, atonement with Yah or divine mind should be acknowledged. 3, meditation in the sacrament must be made within the secret place within with Yah. 4, the door of the mind must be closed to all outer material and non-spiritual thoughts. Still the senses and the mind by closing it to exterior thoughts. 5, affirmation and atonement, and receiving of revelation and gnosis, spiritual knowledge and spiritual awareness. 6. The kingdom of Yah, higher self, the spiritual body, the soul, God consciousness, must be desired and sought out above all other things. And 7. The mind must let go of every error thought and material sense conscious attachments, i.e. renunciation. So let's check out this video and see what Ras Timotheos Tafari Ben Israel has to say about this.
Ambassadors of Yah, those who use the cannabis prayer and meditation as routes of atonement with Yah, are based in the Temple of Divine metaphysical science of the development of the soul. We particularly deal with the 7 basic principles. And so there are 7 basic principles that the high priest of the Temple of Divine must follow according to these routes of communion, routes of atonement. And the 7 are oneness. The first one would be Yah, the higher self, the divine mind, should be recognized as the higher self, or recognized within oneself as the higher mind. The second one is oneness or atonement with Yah, or divine mind, should be acknowledged, i.e. through affirmation or prayer, mantra. So 3, prayer, meditation, and the sacrament must be made within the secret place within oneself with Yah indwelling. So the 4th one would be the door must be closed on all thoughts and interests of the outer world or outer thoughts. And one must still the senses in the mind by closing the mind to exterior materialistic thoughts and ideas, closing one's rational mind and opening one's superconscious mind. So the 5th principle of meditation and prayer and the use of the sacrament is belief and affirmation that one has received gnosis or spiritual understanding, spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge and awareness, a spiritual state of consciousness, spiritual truth through one's actions, i.e. meditation, prayer, and the sacrament. The sixth principle would be the kingdom of Yah, the higher self, the spiritual body must be desired above all things and sought out first, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And the 7th principle, is the mind must let go of every unforgiving thought which is not in tune with the laws of Yah, or the laws of righteousness, right thoughts, i.e. renunciation. So these are the 7 principles of partaking of the sacrament.
So that was the 7 principles of meditation and partaking of the sacrament. Let's skip to the next slide. Salvation and the metaphysical science of the development of the soul. So salvation is based on the development of the spiritual awareness or God consciousness of man, which is known as the soul. By attaining gnosis, spiritual states of consciousness, man receives atonement with Yah, allowing man to develop the spiritual faculties and ultimately spiritual self-transformation. Salvation is based on gaining metaphysical knowledge of self, or gaining that God consciousness or that God indwelling awareness through experience. Salvation is another name for enlightenment, gaining the full esoteric knowledge of self, i.e. full spiritual transformation. Let's see what Ras Timotheos has to say.
Salvation is attained by learning the secret knowledge of self, learning the esoteric knowledge of self, their spiritual essence, the metaphysical science of the development of the soul. And this is first-hand experience, not second-hand experience, and not from reading from a book or attain salvation or attain this esoteric knowledge, also known as enlightenment. And this realization is brought forth through the activation of the spiritual consciousness, and usually through acts of worship, meditation, prayer, and the use of cannabis as a sacrament. And these acts, which allow the priest to constantly realize, or the constant realization of the divine mind within themselves and within nature. So that is probably the most fundamental part of the Temple Divine, is allowing our consciousness, or allowing ourselves to constantly realize and be in atonement or at one with the divine mind within ourselves and within nature.
Okay, so with that understanding, let's skip to the next slide. Eating of the body of Yah.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, by mind, supreme consciousness.
So the eating of the body of Yah is the partaking of the sacrament. Sacrament meaning sacred or holy and set apart, from the ordinary, linear, non-spiritual, materialistic mind. So when one eats of the body of Yah or partakes in the sacrament, they are doing so under the holy order, or the order of setting things apart, that which is spiritual from that which is materialistic. And so the priest partaking in the body of Yah allows him or her to go within and perceive and realize the atonement with Yah. And so the eating of the body of Yah is the eating of spiritual thoughts which directly relate him or her to Yah, or the divine mind. Next slide. The metaphysical science of the temple.
Deals with the processes and the actions and the thought forms that have to do with the state of consciousness, which relates man and woman to their higher selves, or the higher state of being. So the metaphysical science taught by the Temple Divine and understood by the priests of the Temple Divine undergo and are based on practices of consciousness and the development of consciousness, and specifically the awakening of the mind to the spiritual aspect, specifically the mind, the state of mind that relates man to Yah, the Creator, the spiritual essence in things, the life force, mind to things. And so the development of the soul, the metaphysical development of the soul, deals with consciousness going beyond ordinary linear physical states of consciousness, dwelling into the awareness of man, one with Yah, the Creator, the divine mind.
Yes, sir. So that's Ras Timotheos speaking about the holy orders of the Temple Divine and the metaphysical science that follows. In this last clip, I just would like to share, the prayer and meditation. Divine mind, supreme consciousness, Yah, divine Father of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, divine Mother of peace, love, and unity, divine mind, Yah, my protector and guide to true salvation. Holy is the Creator, and peace to all creation. Amen.
Barukata, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Melech Haolam, Divine Mind, Supreme Consciousness of the Universe, my guide to true salvation. Peace and blessings.